Sometimes the person making decisions in your life right now isn't the present day adult self. Sometimes it's the younger version of you that learned this was the safest way to survive. I'm talking about the part of you that learned what kept you accepted, what made you feel worthy, what prevented conflict, or what helped you feel in control. And even years later, these parts can influence the choices you make right now in the present. Not because you are immature or anything, but because these patterns were created when they were really necessary. The brain learns through repetition, especially during childhood when we are dependent on others for safety, connection, and belonging. A child doesn't have the ability to think that the adults around me are struggling emotionally, or that this environment is unhealthy, or this response belongs to them and not me. Instead, children create their own explanations to help them make sense of their own world. They learn things like this is what I need to do to be loved, this is who I need to become to belong, or this is what I need to avoid to stay safe. These conclusions become unconscious rules that follow us into adulthood. And the problem is, what once protected us in one environment may not always serve us in another. What is the difference between the adult self and the younger self? The adult self has more resources, more awareness, more choices, and the ability to evaluate situations. But when an old wound is activated, the brain can respond based on old emotional learning. A present moment can trigger an old emotional response, not because the current situation is identical to the past, but because there is something very familiar about it. Maybe a feeling, a fear, a dynamic, or a sense of uncertainty. The nervous system recognizes patterns faster than the conscious mind analyzes them. This is why someone can intellectually understand something and still feel pulled towards an old response. The adult self knows I have options, but the younger self remembers this is what I had to do to stay safe. Many behaviors we criticize ourselves for once had a purpose. They were attempts to create stability, safety, or connection. But adulthood requires something different. It requires you to ask yourself, does this thing help me live the life I want? This is where healing begins, not by attacking or shaming the younger parts of us, but by becoming curious. Because behind many patterns is a protective intention, even if the behavior does not fit the current reality. Healing the younger parts of you involves reparenting. Reparenting yourself means letting the adult self take the lead. It is about becoming the person you needed in the past. This means learning to provide yourself with compassion, reassurance, emotional safety, boundaries, and the permission to have needs. It is about allowing the adult self to make decisions based on the present instead of constantly responding to the past. The goal isn't to silence the younger parts of you. These parts carry important information. The goal is to let them be heard without allowing them to carry the responsibilities that they were never meant to carry.